Yeah, welcome. Screen get rotated in. Welcome back to the Will This podcast. How you guys doing? I hope you miss me. I miss you too. Of course I do. Today's show, we're gonna talk about some current events first and foremost. Woo! Oh yeah. First, we gotta talk about this goddamn fight last night. Oh god, this fucking travesty. Oh, let's talk about how the modern day Hulkster got knocked the fuck out. But anyway, yeah. The modern day Hulkster. See, the problem with the mindset of some people is they just think they can do anything they want. And if you in the mindset of they really they accept that shit like I fought Anthony Joshua, man, that man bust your fucking jaw into obliterant. You need jaw reconstruction surgery. I've never seen a fucking fist print. He broke his jaw, but he rearranged his fucking jaw. Like he made his bone not break, but bend in to the point where his fucking whole jaw is reconstructed. That's some powerful. That's some punching power. Shit, man. Whew. That's why they tell you in the sweet science of boxing, protect yourself at all times. He's oh, fuck. Some people are so delusional they think they can play boxing. God damn. Oh shit, man. God, this shit is funny. I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold it together. That's when you know someone is so delusional in their whole mindset, how they live their life. Money does not equate to skill set. Money does not equate to intelligence. Money does not equate to anything when you're a proven fool. Even when you have money, you can do a lot of things with money. Don't get me wrong. It's a great comfort. At best. Because you know what a fool do with money? They lose that shit, man. Fools lose all kind of goddamn money. You hear about it every day. And also fools steal a lot of money. Take money. Because they feel like they have a right to do so. No give and take anything. Feeling like what you are giving is the value of what you're asking for is a problem. That's when you have you've kind of outweighed your own ass. You see what I'm saying? That's when you done shit. You might as well just go back to the drawing board because that shit is not forgiving at that point. But that's how people live their life. You go to scamming people, taking shit, and not and it not measuring out to what you actually said it was. No matter what product it is, people want what they pay for, not something that they were fooled or it was misunderstood, or there was a misprint, or let's say a misunderstanding of some sort. But at the end of the day, will there be accountability behind your bullshit? And that's an internal thing. You have to really, if you really believe the shit that you're selling is worth paying for, that's your fucking fault. Think about that. I know that everything that I'm telling you and I put out here, put my reputation, myself online, and be able to come out here and tell you there's some things that people are telling you ain't worth a damn, and they never will be. It's only the fact that they think it is, or they wish it would be so. And the reason why what I'm telling you is valuable is simply because I know so. It's a fact. Some people don't know what the hell they talking about half of the time, and they want to sell you a boatload of fucking garbage. It's true. That's the current events. That's what Jake Paul sold, motherfuckers. a boatload of garbage. When you go around falling down to your knees, grabbing legs, thighs, ankles, please don't hit me, no goddamn boy. Oh my God. That's how he was looking. Yeah. He didn't express it, but we saw what was in his eyes. Man, we saw when that motherfucker took that and the judge that was there. Bow! That whole fucking face went. And he just, uh. Well, that's some shit there. That's some shit. I'm just saying that is some. I would have never got in the ring with Anthony Joshua. I'm sorry. Fuck that. Fuck that, man. That man is built for boxing. You know, a lot of people would sit up here and say, "Yeah, I'll fight anybody. I'll do anything." I haven't trained. I'm not an Olympic gold medalist. I know how to scrap. I know how to fight. I know how to throw hands. I know how to kickbox. I know how to do a lot of shit. But when it comes to just back, like being a daredevil, getting him, and I'm old. I'm older than him. But I'm just saying, not even compared to me, that's not a wise move. If you're not on that, if you're not on an even playing skill with that male specimen, if you're not a man that does that for a living, man, stay out of the fucking boxing ring with Anthony Joshua, man. Your ass will get destroyed. That motherfucking man, 6'2", 240 pounds, built like a fucking cyborg. Yeah, that was stupid. But, you know, he made a lot of money. Anthony Joshua had a super fucking payday. I mean, most money he made in his whole life. Most of all, he gets to go back to his profession and say, hell yeah, let me rededicate myself to my craft because I look shitty in this fight. He should have been done in 1 and 2. 1 or 2 rounds, he should have been out of here. You a real motherfucking boxer. I love the way he took him out. Don't get me wrong. But that man, Jake Paul, his game plan was not to win no goddamn fight. His game plan was to survive the night. That was all. He wasn't trying to win. Shit. No, hell no. He was trying to fucking, let me get the fuck out the way. Goddamn, this motherfucker's hit me so goddamn hard. Lord, man, when he ran out of gas, when he couldn't dance no more, he went to groveling. Grabbing toes and feet and ankles and, oh God, help me. All right, I'm done with this shit, man. Okay. That was a highlight of my Friday, just to see that fight. But there was also some good female fights. Alicia Baumgartner, she kicked ass, man. She whooped that girl ass from start to finish. Just beat the brakes off of her ass. But oh girl, you know, she was trying. She showed a lot of heart. You know, I forgot her name, but she was a European lady. But she got destroyed. She got annihilated. She got the shit beat out of her, man. It was, you know, the champion put on a good display. Shout out to Alicia Baumgartner. And also shout out to Jake Paul for putting on that event because, you know, what he has done for, you could say, you know, is a mimic or he plays boxing. Yeah, that's playing boxing a little bit, but you got to think about it, man. For the attention and he actually has displayed a lot of love for the sport. You got to commend him, man. I mean, shit. You got to commend him for that, man. I mean, the attention that these people are making, you know, and shout out to the old fighters, man. You got a 50-year-old knocked out a 43-year-old, man. That shit was powerful too, man. You know, Anderson Silva came back and knocked down Tyron Woodley. Shout out to Tyron Woodley, man. You that man was too much bigger than you, man. And he got skill sets, man. Anderson Silva he did the whole, ooh, shit. Then he threw leather on his face afterwards. Oh, God, boy, that was, shit. Man, that was ugly. Man, I watched all the fights. Shout out to Uncle Ed for watching the fights with me. That was funny. Man, yeah, it was a great weekend of boxing. It was entertainment. Let's not call it boxing. Let's be fair. Entertaining sports is what we watched this weekend. But I will say, commending. I give a shout out to Jake Paul and you know them boys for putting on knowing how to put on a great show with their money, man, and that's bringing a lot of attention to the sport of boxing, regardless. Y'all know all publicity, you know, it's not bad. They say shit, ain't no such thing as bad publicity when people are entertained, they're entertained. But I would advise people to really study the art and crafts of boxing before you start running your mouth and acting like, you could be like Jake Paul and do shit that you get your fucking jaw smashed into obliterating. It's kind of how your life is. It's you gotta learn how to do something. If you ain't learned about the ages of, if you 12 and up, you might do well, but you got them cats that them boxing since they was 2, 4, 6. All they know is how to, you know what I'm saying? That's all they know is how to they walk around every day using their hands, and you know what I'm saying? They calculating, imagine fighting all the time. Just always, shadow boxing. Man, you don't want to deal with them kind of people, man. They will fuck you up. That's for real. They dedicate their whole fucking life to it, man. I'm a big fan because I've never been a professional boxer. I fought in the military. I've martial arts a lot of years. I've done a lot of shit, but as far as dedicating myself to it, and no, 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 man. I respect people entirely too much. I respect the craft too much. I respect martial arts in its entirety. I've always been a student since a young man, so ain't nothing to be fucked up with. But I'm just saying, I've been a student since very young ages, so I don't try to boost myself up. I just know I have a hellified skill set, my damn self, for real, in a lot of categories of the sports and the arts. These are arts as well. Some people are just gifted. Anyway, uh, more current events. God damn. So the Epstein files, right? The redactations. And the Democrats are saying, no, fuck that, put them all out. And I just don't believe none of this shit. Nothing's going to happen. This is all smoke and mirrors. You got to read what's going on, in the underbelly. You got to read what's going on in Congress and how people are, trying to shift their money and move things and how they're reacting. Don't always pay attention to the illusions of what's going on because you'll miss the main fucking meal. Pay attention to what's going on with taxes. Pay attention what's going on with the big beautiful bill. Pay attention what's going on to you, what's affecting you daily, right damn now. Find out how you can benefit from what you can benefit from, and find out how you can pivot away from taking losses. That's what it's all about right now, man. You want a strong team of people that are going to build with you, that are going to help you, appreciate you, and you got to return that same type of thing and be transparent. If you can't afford something, let people know. If you can pay them back when you pay them, pay them. But make sure you be always transparent with your the behavior that's intentional. Your intentional behavior, the behavior that you have when you want to exchange with people, when you want to understand how to, you know, uh, make sure you're understanding and learning and growing and learning something new every day, but also how to make some money. How to always, understand what's going on in the current laws, current tax forms, current everything. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand you still have to live on this planet. You still have to understand what will benefit you. Everything is not a loss. Let's just say that much. You just have to dig deep. I'll keep you in tune with what I've learned. You know. So, damn. Whew. Let's also get to some more current events. It's a lot of uh, misunderstandings and misleading perspectives of Black American Indians. It's shit. It's a lot of FBAs. Us. The Aboriginal Americans. Us that are here. So there have been a great deal of misconceptions. A lot of misquotings, a lot of people just doing whatever the hell they want, doing whatever the hell they feel like they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Just saying any goddamn thing because that's what they feel like they want to do. But uh, I think the better approach to understand this thing is from a personal perspective. That therefore you have the research, you have your research, you have like I said, if you want to look at my research and what I've done, check out my shows, man. They're cool. And also check out my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikToks, they're all cool too. So I put a lot of information out here to share with you just to show you that, you can do this for yourself too. It's very personal, rewarding situation to understand who and what you are and how you have come about, and to keep learning more about your triumphs, to learning how we were placed in this particular situation, to even understand the interchanging into and the undermining of a whole people and their land. So it's a great deal of information that we have to learn personally, so that we can connect better, so that we can share. We ain't gotta, everybody ain't gotta be the chief. You know, if we're all Indians, everybody ain't gotta be the chief. We can all share, and that's what it's all about. Sharing. It's about sharing stories, realigning. You know what I'm saying? Showing humanity, full frontal. That was another extreme, valiant characteristics of an American Indian. We don't lie, tell fibs, and act like things aren't true. We have a very valiant nature when it comes to development, being very spiritual, and always looking to the universe, the ancestors, and the gods to guide the ways, the path, to gain vision, understanding how to take care of the land, how to take care of ourselves, how to move our children forward. You know what I'm saying? All of those type of things. Those are the characteristics of the Black American. Y'all say we ain't got no culture. Our culture is all progress, all fighting for what is anew for us, because we wanted to bring everybody with us, but damn, that was a hard task because everybody didn't believe in what we were trying to do. So now you see, we still have the same steady footprint. We're still steadfast. We're still the most honorable in all lands, because we have been through it all. We have been through every single solitary fabric of hatred that was ever distributed throughout the whole planet amongst humanity. Now you think about that goddamn equation. That's a hard pill to swallow. And who knows why the universe, the ancestors, and the gods have made it necessary to give us that heavy blow. But we survive, and we thrive, and we continue to do as such, because we don't know any other kind of way. That's the only way. The only way is forward through adversity, so it can make it a new circumstance and situation for yourself. Sometimes you just got to bet it all on you. That's how you become the true anew. You got to bet it all on your own ass. If you can't do that, you ain't worth a damn. You can't ask for nobody to follow you if you can't bet it all on you. And that's just the truth, because the will is yours, and you got to realize that. I'm telling you how I get to it. Hey, you just got to get to it with me. We got it. We can get to this thing together. But all it is you have to understand that we are in the wilderness. But when you understand the rules, laws, regulations of the land, that means you're educating yourself. You know how to move. You know how to pivot. You know how to orchestrate. You know how to operate. You know how to set up shop legally, efficiently, effectively, and intentionally. God damn, it got to be intentional. If it ain't intentional, what you doing? Tell you where you get this intent from. Let me show you where you get some of this intent from. So, chapter 3, 32. Black Seminole early resistance and involvement during the Second Seminole War. As with any major historical event, the Second Seminole War was a result of culminating developments. It was proven adequate to say that, at least to examine just the war without discussing the arising tension, conflicts, and political climate with existing prior to the war, according to the time period previously examined, are the including in this chapter the emphasis solely on the Black Seminoles. In doing so, it is the objective to the chapter demonstrates the contribution of the Black Seminoles. Blacks were organizing themselves within their own leaders in the militant since the 1600s. They began to provide military service to the Spanish authorities, which in turn granted them recognition from the Spanish crown. Once their services were formally recognized by the Edict of the 1693, They were incorporated into the military, like other or military organizations serving the crown. Black militants had regular officers, systematic training, and a stated supply pay, equipment, and arms and uniforms. During the 18th century, the tension began increasing between the British and the Spanish. Both sides began to seek ways to destabilize the other in the Americas. Spain, in order to challenge the British, aligned themselves with slaves in the English colonies. Thus, Florida became the safe haven for blacks runaways. The origin of the development and the policy may be traced back to the later part of the 17th century. It is known whether the policy of accepting runaways was initiated solely by the Spanish with the influence of runaways themselves, or simply as a result of recognizing of the influx of runaways and the policy and military advantages that seemed to offer. However, the Edict of 1693 appears to set the precedent. King Charles II wrote the Covenant Quiroga in response to questioning of allowing runaways to convert to Catholicism, stating to the government and Captain General in the state, St. Augustine, it is notified in different letters and dated in 1688, 1689, and 1690 that 8 black males and 2 black females who were runaways from the city of St. George, arriving in Presidio, asking to the holy waters of the baptism, which they received, their being instructed Christian. Instructed in Christian doctrine. Later on, you hear that? Instructed in Christian doctrine. Understand that and understand that well. Christian doctrine. Later on, the chief sergeant of St. George visited the city in an intention to claim the runaways, but it was not proper to do so because they had already become Christians. As a prize for having adopted the Catholic doctrine and becoming Catholicized, as soon as you get the letter, sent them all free and give them anything they need to favor them as much as possible. I hope them to be an example together with my generosity for what others should do. I want to be notified of the following of my instructions as soon as possible. So you understand how, even before reclassification, within it all, it was all planned out. We was all used as a tool to maintain the size of the other. So when I tell you, people from other places come to the Americas, we've already played that game. We've already done those tasks. We've already run that goddamn game over and over again with the same type of people that have also made whiteness a unilateral type of organization and construct. That's what whiteness became, a global construct of white supremacy. So that's how you got the 1947 Balfour Act. That's how you got all these new piping up type of states and this newfound strong man ideology that have always been existing in the underbelly, even when it came to George Bush, when it came to Clinton, when it came to Reagan. Oh yeah, Carter was a great president, but I'm telling you, when we got the room Reaganomics, that was a pivotal direction to destruction. It was the same thing all over again that went global with the black indigenous man. Please understand me and understand me well. They did the same thing when it comes to the race war, white supremacy, and the Japan attack on the British Empire because of what they had did. That's what the bomb, the big boom happened. They're saying you got to understand what they came here for. God, gold, and glory. They knew where the stories came from. They knew a lot about these lands that the Moors had gave up about us. Understand me well. The New World, Christopher Columbus' discovery of the Indies in 1492. Launching a frantic effort by rich and powerful men intended to claim for their king and for themselves as much territory as possible and what to become known as the New World, which was the Old World, by the way. Let me go deep into the discovery of La Florida. The discovery of La Florida. All right. The discovery of La Florida. Juan Ponce de Leon became the discoverer and the governor of La Florida in the most unusual way. It had come to the Indies in Columbus' second voyage in 1493. He later conquered Puerto Rico in 1508 and subsequently became the governor where he built the Empire States in 1506. Christopher Columbus died, and his son Diego undertook a long legal quest to obtain the title of viceroy for himself. He won and became viceroy in the Indies in 1512, but only in the islands and the father had discovered. He immediately removed Ponce de Leon and the governor in Puerto Rico. Ponce de Leon went to Spain and complained to the unfairness of his friend King Ferdinand. The king offered him a consolation prize, allowing him to discover whatever he could find north of what he'd known in the Indies. Once claiming the islands and the king, and upon the governor independent victory, Columbus, they brought knew that at least one island, Benin, existed, and might be others too. Ponce de Leon accepted the deal and returned to Puerto Rico, sailing to discover the new lands in 1513. In common between Ponce de Leon sailed blindly to Puerto Rico and discovered La Ferida, the inaccurate one. Ponce de Leon had lived in the Indies for 20 years, and he knew the islands and the Indies very well. He became a rich and powerful man and certainly knew the pilots and captains of many ships in the visit of Puerto Rico and their islands and traveled to the Indies, some of which possible worked directly for him. There is no doubt that he knew where to go find at least one officially undiscovered island, which was north of Cuba and west of the Bahamas. So, therefore, you understand the mentality and the ideology of these people that live in these places today. They do not like, they have a very conquered, a very Western colonized philosophical mentality to this very day. And that is why we have an extreme difference in the United States. That mentality, which Che Guevara even tried to prevent and wanted to bring a lot of democracy and things of those nature. I'll read more, but not today. I just want to give you something to go on. I want to give you some of these jewels for God, glory, and gold. See that? Pick this book up. Few people that said what others wrote about this novel, the journey of Navarre's expedition, and one of the greatest survival epics in history in American exploration. Shit like that. The Odyssey of hardship and misfortune is one of the most remarkable in the history of the New World, which is not the New World. See, everything you have to see, you looking at people. People have a different ideological perspective of looking at things. So, see, when you look at the birth of a nation, this book here, when you look at this, two different perspectives of looking at things. The invention of white people and its relevance today. Let's take a little sneak peek here before I take a piss. The Americanization of whites, page 49. All right, chapter 3, the Americanization of whites. In the preceding chapters, we saw something when, why, and how white people were invented. In this chapter is the next we move to the colonial area in the first 150 years of the newly found United States of America. This section will explore roles of white people in ideology and social structure in organization of the new republic and shaped its century. In this chapter, foundational U.S. law and policy regarding immigration and naturalization were considered. These areas of laws are important to becoming a shield light upon those who have been welcomed to the United States permanent by virtue of law. Two, who is that? All right. All right, good to go. All right. I had to read something White was sent me. Okay, so by virtue of law, full participation of those who have not. The history continues to influence social interactions in the 21st century, the United States, that cause some but not others to seem as American. Historical, Ronald Takaki, in chapter 1 of the book, The Different Mirror, and lays out details of what a familiar experience of him while being driving in a taxi cab Takaki described was transpired in part as follows. My driver, I chatted about the wealth of the tourist. The sky was cloudy. The Virginia beach was 20 minutes away. The rearview mirror reflected a white man in his 40s, How long have you been in this country? He asked. My whole life, I replied, wincing. I was born in the United States. With a strong southern drawl, he remarked, I was wondering because your English is excellent. Then, as I at many times before I experienced, my grandfather came here from Japan in the 1880s. My family had been here in America for over 100 years. He glanced at me in the mirror. Somehow, I did not look American to him. My eyes and complexion looked foreign. My spouse, parents, and numerous aunties and uncles came to the country from Italy. This is Jacqueline Bettalora right now. My spouse, parents, and numerous aunties and uncles came here from Italy. For much of the United States, Italians who were poor, often more southern region of Italy, the Catholics were viewed as not white, finding themselves in between people of status that with it. Examining the chapter 4, David Rodinger describes many will examine will with new immigrants who held their ambiguous racial location before succeeding to become white. 2005. And he tells you page 119 and 130. The end of the World War. Hmm. End of World War II brought about a fracturing of the prevailing system of racial rules. As a result, in the decades as follows, the Italians began to be seen as white people. Despite heavy Italian accents, relatives and arrival in the United States in the 1960s are not asked where we were visiting and how long they were going to be in the United States. They were largely experiencing a daily life treated by bankers, taxi drivers, grocery store cashiers, neighbors, and like as if they were Americans. Why? What caused Dr. Takaki to often be viewed as a visitor or newcomer to the United States? And why do my spouse and family members experience life as Americans, whether they become citizens or not? Even words commonly utilized and categorized people reflecting as a division between Takaki is American and does not exist for my spouse relatives. Takaki often finds himself labeled as Asian American, Japanese American, but rarely does others refer to him as simply American. My spouse relatives refer to themselves as Italians, but most people refer to them as Americans. Only somehow actually naturalized as to become a U.S. citizen, while others return to their Italian citizenship. They become Italian Americans. To those with whom have interacted, where they are festival and holidays and highlights in Italian culture, but for little else. Think about the categories is, are we available to check off common governmental, educational, or medical forms? Ever seen Italian American? Now you think about all of what I just read from the birth of a white nation and who is accepted and who is not, who is indigenous, but you got to understand there are two Americas. Thank you for listening and learning, and I appreciate you for viewing the show tonight. I want you to take it in. I want you to listen more. I want you to share, like, and subscribe and understand how you think about yourself and how you view yourself, or if you think you're just so damn American. But as you know, I read you about this. I read you about the Asian experience. I read you about the white experience. Somehow, white in the world brain is synonymous with America when they're two furthest things from the truth. They're a European nation that conquered and overlaid a melanated nation, a Moroccan nation that were deemed by the world helpful to the world if we took that loss, that blow, that punch in the face, that reclassification, that death toll. But we're still here. We're still vibrant. We're still alive, and we're still a present people today. Thank you. I love you, and I appreciate you listening to the Willis podcast. That's the show tonight. I may do another one, but this is your current events. We're still here, present and current today. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you again. We love you. And remember, And know one thing for all people, understand and understand me well. The will is yours. Don't ever forget that shit. Keep learning, keep progressing, keep being, keep elevating. Always go up. Always take your energies up. Always understand how to balance yourself properly so that you can take those proper steps for evolution. I love you, the Willis Podcast. We're hanging out a little bit on TikTok and we out. Well, peace.